Good afternoon. Before I begin, let me just say two things. One, when this is all over, I'll take questions when we finish today's announcements. But let me begin by expressing my deep sympathy for the family of Capitol Officer Sicknick, who has died in the line of duty. Our sympathies and our concerns go out to his family, and the people responsible should be held accountable, and they will be. But today I'm pleased to announce the latest members of our economic team. And with their announcement, I'm proud to announce we have finished naming our cabinet, saving the best for last year. 24 outstanding women and men who will get our country moving again, and who are going to restore trust in our government again, and all of whom are ready on day one to do their job. This is a cabinet that I promised you, and I've fulfilled that promise. It looks like America. It taps into the full range of talent we have in our nation, and we have immense talent. It's a historic cabinet. This will be the first cabinet ever that is evenly composed with as many women as men in the cabinet. This will be the first cabinet ever with a majority of people of color occupying this cabinet. And it has more than a dozen history-making appointments, including the first woman Secretary of Treasury, the first African-American Defense Secretary, the first openly gay cabinet member, and the first Native American cabinet secretary. We're also on track. We've named a record 50 high-level appointments that are subject to president confirmation, more than any president ever elected has done. We've done our job. We've begun my job of naming these people. It's my expectation and hope that the Senate will now move to confirm these nominees promptly and fairly. It's especially the case for the nominees of Secretary of State, Defense, Treasury, Homeland Security. I nominated them back in November. Given what our country has been through the last 4 years, the last few days, given the threats and the risks in this world, they should be confirmed as close to January 20th as possible. There should be no vacancies at State, Defense, and Treasury and Homeland Security. And we will remain in this dark winter of pandemic and with the economic crisis that's deepening, and we have no time to lose with regard to the entire team. Consider the December jobs report released today. The anxiety and fear of the women and men out there reminds me of when President Obama and I were sworn in during the Great Recession of 2009. This December jobs report shows millions of Americans are still hurting through no fault of their own. We lost another 140,000 jobs, the first negative jobs report since the height of the pandemic in the spring. More people have just lost a job, while many have been out of work for a long time. And the ongoing gap between Black and Latino unemployment remains much too large, that gap.
Mr. President-elect, while we have been here, as you've been announcing your economic team, we've learned that House Democrats are currently planning to introduce articles of impeachment against President Trump as soon as Monday. At that point, it'll be just a little over a week before the president leaves office. Do you believe this is a good idea?
Look, I've thought for a long, long time that President Trump wasn't fit to hold the job. That's why I ran. And my job now, in 12 days, God willing, I'll be President of the United States of America. And I'm focused on the urgency of 3 immediate concerns. 1, the virus, getting it under control, getting the vaccine from a vial into people's arms. I think the way it's being done now has been very, very sad. Number 2, we've had 4,000 deaths. 4,000 deaths yesterday. And things continue to rise, to escalate. That's my number one concern, to get the virus under control. We lost over 125,000 jobs this last month, and people are really, really, really in desperate shape. And so I'm focused on the virus, the vaccine, and economic growth. What the Congress decides to do is for them to decide. But I'm going to have to, and they're going to have to be ready to hit the ground running, because when Kamala and I are sworn in, we're going to be introducing immediately significant pieces of legislation to deal with the virus, deal with the economy, and deal with economic growth. So we're going to do our job, and the Congress can decide how to proceed with theirs.
But if a Democratic member of Congress were to call and ask for your advice about whether they should proceed with this, what would you tell them?
I'd tell them that's a decision for the Congress to make. I'm focused on my job.
Like Biden, Vice President-elect Harris, good to see you both. I want to pick up on something that you just said about President Trump actively encouraging the insurrection at the Capitol. Given the perceived threat that he poses, my question to you is not so much about the role that Congress should play in impeachment, but rather, should President Trump, in your estimation, remain in office?
I didn't think, look, I've been saying for now well over a year, he is not fit to serve. He is not fit to serve. He's one of the most incompetent presidents in the history of the United States of America. And so the idea that I think he shouldn't be out of office yesterday is not the issue. The question is, what happens with 14 days left to go or 13 days left to go? And I think that what 81 million people stood up and said, it's time for him to go. And the United States Senate voted 93-6 to confirm that we should be sworn in. We were duly elected. So I think it's important we get on with the business, getting him out of office. The quickest way that that will happen is us being sworn in on the 20th. What action happens before or after that is a judgment for the Congress to make, but that's what I am looking forward to, him leaving office. I was told that on the way up here, way over here, that he indicated he wasn't going to show up at the inauguration. One of the few things he and I have ever agreed on. It's a good thing I'm not showing up.
Earlier, you'd said that if you'd hope that he would show up only in the sense that it was valuable to send a signal to the world about the transfer of power. You've clearly changed your perspective on that.
Because he has clearly demonstrated, he's exceeded even my worst notions about him. He's been an embarrassment to the country, embarrassed us around the world, not worthy to hold that office. If we were 6 months out, we should be moving everything to get him out of office, impeaching him again, trying to invoke the 25th Amendment, whatever it took to get him out of office. But I am focused now on us taking control as president and vice president on the 20th, and to get our agenda moving as quickly as we can. Thank you.